Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have 112 Collective X-Men Wolverine from Mezco. This is the second iteration of this character with the tiger stripes. I totally missed on the first one, but I was lucky enough to pick this one up on Amazon, and I got a really great price. For those of you that don't know, you can constantly check on Amazon and you will find stuff drop in price, go back up in price, drop in price, go back up in price, and sometimes it drops down quite a bit. There's been some criticisms of the box because, you know, it's just a tin box. Cookies come in tin boxes too, you know. But you know what? This box is nicer than the other boxes other toys come with. So I'm keeping this one, even though I threw away everything else. The head sculpts, there's a lot of them. This is the first, which is badass. I mean, this is from his first appearance. It's really cool. I don't think I would have ever thought that I would see a toy with Wolverine's first appearance mask. That's pretty cool. But let me ask you guys, do you think that his neck is too long? It didn't bother me at first until I kind of read it somewhere, and now I can kind of see it a little bit. It is a little long, but you know what? It still doesn't bother me that much. I still think it looks really good. What do you guys think? This is Headsculpt number 2, which is my favorite actually, but you know what, I have a couple favorites for this figure. But I want you to take note of the detail of it. Look around his eyes, look at his mask itself, the grooves, the ridges, the paint, the little texture. It just looks so detailed. I'm amazed at how they can get it to look this nice. I mean, there's little dots and scratches and just kind of like he's been through stuff, right? It's really great. So this is Headsculpt number 3. It looks almost like 2, except he's not quite as mad. I think with all these different head sculpts, you can get so many great picture opportunities, and that's what I collect these for anyways, to display them, but also to take pictures of them. And so far what I've gotten with this Wolverine, and it just goes far and above beyond anything I've gotten from anything else so far. I mean, yes, he's not as flexible or posable as other Wolverines out there, but the realism behind this, I love toys that make it look real. This is Headsculpt number 4. You know, he has no mask on. It looks really good. I think Mezco is for those people that like a realistic take on their comic book characters. I know that some of you out there want your comic book characters to look like comic book characters, like with the giant proportions and this and that. I get it. People out there have different takes on what they like. I like that too. But I kind of prefer this, like more realistic proportions. I think it looks great, the detail and everything, but you know, I like the Moffics too. It's just there's something for everybody, right? So the 5th head sculpt is probably my least favorite, but not because it's not good, because I think it's painted really well. The skin tone looks great. The hair, the detail on his face, it just looks really great. The only reason I don't think it's my favorite is because he looks like he just went over to the Fantastic Sam's trying to go on a date with Jean Grey, and Wolverine to me is this really gnarly looking short guy and not this clean cut guy here, but it's still a good head sculpt. You can get even more photo opportunities with it. Okay, so this is the 6th one. That's a lot of heads already, right? But again, this is his first appearance one, but this is more like a I'm gonna kill you kind of look, you know? It's really good. I really like it, even though that's not exactly my favorite mask Wolverine has ever worn. I still think it looks really great. Look at his teeth. They almost look a little sharpened, don't they? I don't know if I like that, but I like the black on his mask, the different levels of darkness. It just looks really good. His eyes come through really well. Did you know Wolverine had such nice blue eyes? I can't remember now. I've never gotten past him, you know, killing people with his claws. So this one is tied for first place in my all-time favorite head sculpts because, man, this looks really cool. It looks like he just took this ginormous beating from somebody and he's just smiling. That is so cool. I really like this. I mean, check out the detail for yourself. You can see the little bits of adamantium peeking through, but while I'm on that, I do want to point out that I don't think he has adamantium on his lips, which if you look closely, you can see a little bit of the adamantium showing through his lip, his bottom lip, but that's okay. I can forgive that. I know it bothers some people on the internet. It doesn't bother me that much. I love this freaking head sculpt. It's a good thing I'm putting down the numbers of how many head sculpts I'm showing you, right? Because man, this is the 8th one, believe it or not. This is probably the most calm one with his mask on. It looks really good. He's just kind of there. Maybe he's not having a great time, but he's not gonna kill you. Look, he's fine. He's okay where he is. Don't mess with him though. So this doesn't count as a head sculpt because it really is just the mask. Maybe you can have him holding it like it just got torn off. It's pretty cool too though, right? So here they all are, 8 total head sculpts plus 1 mask. That's a whole lot of heads. And yes, this is a pricey figure. I mean, really pricey, but it's worth it just by the heads alone. Now we go on to his hands. This is his no claw fisted hands, like he's gonna punch Cyclops in the gut right here. Not kill him, but you know how many times he could have killed him? Jeez, right? These are his second pair of hands. They're his pointing fingers hands, like he's pointing at somebody for, hey, you cheated me at cards or something, right? They're pretty cool too. You need these, I think, for some great picture opportunities. The detail on his gloves to me is just amazing. I mean, look at that, where the claws come out of it, the little marks and indentations. I mean, that's really paying attention to detail. I'm thinking it just looks really good. And yes, I am lighting up this character in such a way that it accentuates the details. That's the whole point of my channel. I really hate when people have these really great reviews ruined by really bad shots. I want to see the figure in its entirety. I want to see the details, and I feel like a lot of the reviewers out there don't give you that, but they have a bunch of knowledge. I mean, these guys are really knowledgeable, but man, they need a better camera operator or something. Anyways, I really like how I'm showing you the details, and I hope you appreciate it too. These are his open hands. These are his third pair of hands. You can use these hands to hold up that mask that was there as the extra head sculpt. So you can do a whole lot with these. These are just kind of like, but he doesn't have his claws out, so he's not quite that angry yet. These are his fourth set of hands, are clawed closed hands, so he's got a fist going on. These are probably the ones you're going to be using a whole lot for pictures or even just to have them up there. I think these are probably the most I want to say iconic, but you know, he has his claws out and he has his hand fisted like that. These are probably going to be the ones that I put him on my shelf with the most, but I am a fan of the next ones coming up. Can you guys guess which ones those are? Yes, it is his bone claw hands. Man, I really like this. Look at the ridges on the bone. I mean, damn, this is nice. And how many other figures out there have bone claws? I mean, seriously, I'm asking you, how many? I don't know. This is freaking cool. I think this might be my favorite. I know he doesn't kick quite as much ass with these, but dude, these are really nice. Oh, and you know what? I just thought about this. You cannot use these with the head sculpt that's one of my favorites, which is the one that has the adamantium showing, right? Because it wouldn't make sense. He has adamantium showing on his head and his lip, but he doesn't have the adamantium claws. That doesn't make sense. So for his sixth pair of hands, they're clawed hands, but they're open. You know, he's like, I do a good Wolverine, don't I? Sounds stupid. Anyways, these are really nice. He's got his hands open like that, like he's got a lot of motion going on. The detail on not just the claws, but his gloves to me are just great. All throughout, all his hands with his gloves, they just look really nice, really detailed, top notch. So now we move on to the accessories, of which he has a ton of. He has this red belt, and you already saw his black belt throughout all those shots that I showed you. this feels really good, and you can interchange it, of course. Why else would they give you a belt, right? But he has also one more thing, where he has different belt buckles, which are interchangeable on both the red and the black belt, which is really cool. You can interchange it with that thing. It looks really nice, although this is a lot of work for my big fingers. So yeah, okay, yeah, you can do it, but man, you're gonna really be playing with your toy a lot, which I guess is the point. You have to play with your toy. Just be careful with your toys, because man, you know, these are not the Mattel for little kid toys. They are fragile. So it took me a minute to figure out what this was, but actually it's a Sentinel's eyeball, which is pretty cool, and it's a part of a larger piece of this character's accessories, and it's really nice. I mean, the detail on it is great. I love that they put this in there to put for pictures, you know, him clawing away an eyeball. That's nice. The slashing effects are also some of my favorite. I think everything about this figure is my favorite, but I don't think I've seen another Wolverine figure with such slashing accessories. And you think to yourself, how do these go on him? And it's pretty easy. There's 3 holes in each of these accessories where the claws just kind of slide right into really easily, and I think you can get some really dynamic pictures with them. So you saw the first 2, now these are the next 2 slashing accessories. They go the same way, where they have 3 holes in them and you just slide the claws right in there. I would just be a little careful to not kind of dull your claws. You want to keep them looking sharp, right? And I can easily see that happening. So yeah, just be careful with your inserting of the claws and you'll be fine. Does anybody remember playing Capcom versus Marvel? I would always play with Wolverine and Ken. And when he did his special move, he did that crazy slashing effect, which this reminds me of. Does it remind you too? I used to love doing that to people and winning sometimes. So for the final accessory, you need batteries, and so it comes with batteries, which is really good, because I've had other toys, which I can't remember now, that don't come with batteries, but this one did. It does not come with this though. It's a little tiny screwdriver, which you'll need for the next part. I don't think this really needs explanation, but I'm gonna show you anyway. Screwdriver goes in there where the screw is, and then there's an on and off button. That's it. When you have that, you put this, you turn it over, and this is what it is. This little baby Sentinel. You push the button and it lights up. That's cool, and it's flickering like he's on his last battery, right? It looks really cool. You see those peg holes? Well, you can put the flight stand that it comes with in there, and it's badass. I mean, look at this. You can see Wolverine's claw marks all over this. I can do the entire video showing you every angle of this, but I'm not going to. But I want you to look at it and appreciate every single little crevice, every detail there is to this. This figure is well worth the money, despite what some other reviewers would have you say. This thing is badass. Look at this. Just this alone, although it would have been really cool, right, to have this Sentinel at least be scale, but maybe like a bigger one, like when you're fighting. No, that wouldn't be an accessory. That would be in a whole other figure. But I kind of want that now. If Mezco did a Sentinel, damn, that would be cool. I'm gonna write them a letter. Now you guys see how old I am. But yeah, it doesn't scale at all, but it still looks badass, especially with Wolverine holding that eyeball. Damn, that's cool. Maybe with some forced perspective and photography, you can get some really cool shots. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you're wondering how well does he articulate. I mean, he's wearing like a suit made out of cloth, so he can't articulate that much, right? And in some cases, you'd be right. That's how much it goes up. The butterfly joint at the shoulder allows him to just kind of move, rotate freely at the bicep. It's good enough. It's good, actually. It's really good. So look, he can do this with his elbow bend. I think that's pretty good. You can get some really cool poses here. He got a double jointed elbow, pinless. That's good. His wrist, it rotates any which way you want, and that's with all the hands, all the clawed hands. So that's good. That's good articulation, I think, especially considering the fact that he's wearing a cloth costume. I reviewed the Mezco Ghost Rider, and that one had pretty bad head articulation, but I mean, he had light up features on his face, right? This one has no such features, so he can move his head in any direction, up, down, left, right, anything your little heart desires for photos, you can do with his head, all of them, of course. The waist swiveling is probably the one that you don't want to push too much. You can see the cloth kind of extending itself a little bit. You do that enough, I'm sure you're gonna wear out the costume. So yeah, don't do that a lot, I think, or don't do it to this much degree, which is not a whole lot. So I'll admit his waist swiveling isn't quite there. He can do the splits, that's good. Man, look at that muscle definition on his arms. You can really see it when the costume gets kind of pushed and moved, you know. You can see the different muscles. I love that. I love that. It looks like a buff looking dude in cosplay, according to some reviewers. Maybe not quite cosplay, but yeah, I get it. It's a more realistic take, and I love it. I love that you can see his muscles through his costume. Look, his knee bend is pretty good. You can do a whole lot with that. He's got a swivel joint on his ankles, so you can move that any which way you want to, left, right, side, up, down, whatever. You can do it all. He can bend forward about that much, and he needs some assistance because he would have toppled over there, but that's pretty good too. And then he bends backwards about this much, also with assistance. You can get it done. You're stretching the fabric out, which I'm not like scared of, but you know, maybe you wouldn't want to do that much, and I don't see that you would, because it's not like you're taking this toy to the bathtub and playing with it, right? I might have to rethink having a whole section for details when, in fact, the whole time I've been showing you nothing but. Yes, I've also showing you his articulation and this and that, but I'm sure throughout it all you saw the details in this character. I mean, check out the soft goods. Look at that threading. It's really nice. His pads there, yes, those can come off too, so be careful, but you can put them right back in. That's not really a problem. His belt and his chonies there, they have some texture. You know, they're nice, dude. I feel like I would love to take a tour of the Mezco factories, wherever the hell they are, and see how they do it, because I'm impressed with this. You can see the muscles there. The boots are so detailed and painted nicely. I have been reviewing all these Super 7s, and every time I open a box, I'm like crossing my fingers there's nothing wrong with it. I just opened the box for a Leonardo Samurai, and the head peg was broken. I'm like, oh my god. That's 0 out of 3 that I've opened for the Super 7s that have been good. And nothing wrong with them, and this one was the worst by far. So tomorrow I'm taking a trip to Best Buy anyways. I'm disappointed with the Super 7s right now, but you know, oh look, I see one little mispaint. Can you guys spot it? Can you on his boot there? I'll point at it. One disappointment, not to me but to my wife, is she was not impressed with his butt. No. Actually, neither am I. I don't think he's got a nice butt. I think Hugh Jackman has a nice butt, according to my wife. But this doesn't look that good, I think. I remember hearing somebody say something about his glutes not being comic booky enough. And yeah, you're right. There's not a whole lot of comic book accuracy here. But I think they look pretty buff. They look buffer than mine and probably all of yours. I think that looks good. But yeah, he didn't skip leg day. You can see the muscles kind of shining through. And yes, I am helping it a little bit with the way that I'm lighting him up. But dude, you can see his muscles. That's freaking cool. I'm having this fascination here with his physique. But damn, I think that's so cool, right? Like, you can see his abs through his costume, but you can't really see them all the time. It depends on how you swivel him and how his waist and how you move him, where you can see those come out, and I think that's great. I think that looks so much better than some plasticky, you know, feel to them. This looks real, but I like that. I like real stuff. I also like the plasticky, like I told you, but this to me is what my thing is. His hairy arms, he probably should have been a little hairier. I'm thinking it looks like he kind of shaved his bicep, doesn't it? That doesn't look good. Maybe we can do it ourselves, get a little Sharpie. No, I probably won't do that. This figure is $150 most anywhere, but I was lucky enough to get him for $125 on Amazon. So I just told you how I got them for $125. You can get them for $155 on Entertainment Earth, and they have them. And same thing for Big Bad Toy Store. But if you hurry, it's $119 on Amazon. That's freaking good. And now the comparisons, which I can do really quick. Look, he's got Cyclops there, Marvel Legends, that's okay. Yes, this Wolverine is a bit too tall for Wolverine. I'm okay with it. Are you? If not, you probably shouldn't get this. But I think most Wolverines out there are going to be a little taller than they probably should be. I can live with it. Hopefully you can too, because this figure is badass and I really like it. And here is the Red Hood from the McFarlane line. That looks pretty good. That scales well, I think, better than with Marvel Legends. Here we have a Apocalypse Marvel Legend. I actually think that looks okay. Maybe Apocalypse should have been bigger. And here he is next to a Joker animated series from Mafex. I can live with this as well. Yes, Wolverine should be shorter again, but this is good for me. Look, these videos, they take a while to make, especially this one. Please subscribe, guys. I would really appreciate it. Thanks.